I don't know why you're not everywhere else except for your damn booty hole. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to come on here really quick and film this because I totally forgot to film an intro to this video. So this is the second part of my labor and delivery story. I will go ahead and give you a warning that some of this stuff might be TMI or triggering to whomever. So if you feel like you might be triggered by some of the things that I'm going to say, because I'm going to say a lot, okay, that you might be a little sensitive to certain things, or maybe you're pregnant and this is just something that you don't want to hear, go ahead and click out. I'm just going to warn you right now, because I'm giving a lot of information. I think it's very useful either way, but I just don't want to offend you. From jump, I'm letting you know. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully I went over everything that I wanted to in the video. I don't remember, but I just wanted to make sure I filmed this intro. I appreciate you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Okay guys, welcome back to my channel. I'll be Renee. And this is part 2 of my labor and delivery story. If you guys watched my last video, I had my baby. He's right here, which is why I'm filming in the living room right now, just because he could be in his lock right here to next to me and I can keep an eye on him. It was just more comfortable that way. I decided to do kind of like a makeup talk, get ready with me talk situation, just because I haven't really done my makeup in a long time. Plus I just felt like this deserved, like my experience deserved a part 2, a more detailed, informative video, because my labor and delivery video was more like, oh, the fun cute side, you know what I'm saying, and I kind of wanted to get into stuff that wasn't so cute, just because I feel like it's important. You know, we took a lot of classes. You know, I already have a 15-year-old. Granted, she's 15, so it's been a long time since I had a baby. It is thundering outside. So anyway, it's been a long time since I had a baby. And of course, Jody, this is his first child. So we took a lot of classes, and I feel like we were led on in a way, you know what I'm saying? Like, they gave us in these classes like all of the cute stuff and none of the bad stuff. Like, I felt like we weren't as prepared for some of the things that could go wrong at all, like nothing. So I'm just gonna backtrack and kind of go through our whole experience at the hospital. I do my makeup while I'm, you know, chatting with y'all, but keep in mind, you know, I'm not an artiste. I'm just getting ready. Okay, I just realized I have no mirror. Hold on. So first things first, 11/9 we had our routine doctor's appointment. I was 38 weeks, I believe. Yeah, 38 weeks and maybe like a day or two. So routine visits. Okay, at this point we're doing weekly visits. Fun but not fun. I felt like those weekly visits were kind of dumb because it wasn't like she was checking me unless I asked her to. And it was just like, okay, how are you feeling? Do you feel like you might be in labor? Those type of questions. So like, we literally drove you know, in traffic for 45 minutes every time there was an appointment for her, just to send us back home, basically. Anyway, so we're at the visit. Like I said, routine visit, nothing major. We get in there and one of the nurses, you know, once you get in there, they check your blood pressure. So A nurse checks my blood pressure and she's like, oh, it's kind of high, whatever, but it's no big deal. Okay, now mind you, I have not had high blood pressure this whole pregnancy. Nothing. Okay, I have had other issues which I can go into another video of separate. This is a solely labor and delivery, but I can go into other issues in another video if you want. She does what she does, she logs it, and she was like, oh, you know, the doctor will be in shortly. Cool, no problem. At this point, still pretty normal, right? I'm spending a lot of time fluffing these brows. Then after about maybe 10-15 minutes, the nurse that we usually see, she comes in and then she checked my blood pressure, which is odd because that never happens. Like, they check it once and that's it. I've never had somebody else come in and then recheck my blood pressure. So she comes in and she's like, yeah, we're just gonna check it again. And I'm just like, okay. She asks like what I had for breakfast, if I had anything sweet or whatever, and I'm just like, okay, so having something sweet could make me have high blood pressure? I don't know. Granted, I am a black woman and I feel like I should know these things about blood pressure especially, but I don't. So I'm basically like, what are you talking about, man? Like, are you telling me eating Captain Crunch in the morning could make me have high blood pressure? Like, I don't understand. So the doctor comes in and immediately she was like, okay, your blood pressure is high, we're gonna induce you. Excuse me? Like, come again? Did he say what? Basically what she was saying was that I was in my 3rd trimester. So as you get closer to your due date, they don't want you to risk preeclampsia, right? So they choose to induce. Now, nobody had ever mentioned this to me before, so I felt like it was completely off guard. Like, we go through all these classes, right? You know what I'm saying? So that I could be a top-notch parent and kind of know what I'm doing. And then here you are bringing up this shit that I've never heard of before. Yes, again, I have had a, that fell right on my titty. Okay, so yes, I have had a baby before, right? But that pregnancy was completely different, okay? I had no issues whatsoever. So preeclampsia, what, like, I know nothing, okay? Speak English to me because I have no idea what you're talking about, ma'am. Me and Jody are just sitting there just like baffled, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's talking to us, but we're just like, run back to the part where you say you have to induce me. She's like, what I want you to do is go home, take a shower, eat, and then come back at 7. I think I said 6:30 in the vlog, but it was actually 7. As of right now, I still have no idea why I had high blood pressure this one fucking day out of all days. We go home, we take our showers, chill for a little bit, we go out to eat, and then we go, like, luckily we already had our bags packed and everything, so then we immediately go to the hospital. At this point, I'm dilating really slow. So she had checked me the week before and I was 1 centimeter. She checked me again this day and I was still 1 centimeter, maybe 1.5. I think she was saying, no, I was still 1 centimeter. We check in, they're like, okay, we're trying to get some stuff situated. We kind of have some other stuff, kind of emergency stuff happening or whatever. So it's gonna be a second. We'll get to you as soon as possible. They put us in the waiting room. Literally, we're waiting there for like 2.5 hours. So you mean to tell me that I need to be induced, right? Because of my blood pressure. Like, I'm at risk, like, it's not that important to the point where I'm still waiting 2.5 hours in the waiting room. Okay, sure. If that makes sense. Like, I was kind of irritated because I was like, why would you tell me that I need to be induced, that it was so important, and I'm still waiting 2.5 hours? Mind you, we're just waiting in the waiting room to be put into a room. So about 9 o'clock, I'm like, I gotta use the restroom. So I go to use the restroom and there's all these open fucking rooms. Delivery rooms, okay? So I'm just like, why are we waiting in the waiting room? Like, baby might be chill for a second. I don't know. You guys, random, I've been really enjoying my coffee with just creamer in it. Like a shit ton of creamer, but with just creamer in it. But, oh. Anyway, we get to the, we're finally in the delivery room at around like 9:30 or so. And we're basically just chilling. I was only at like 1.5 centimeters. Probably around midnight or so is like really the next update, which is I really need to put my eyebrows. Oh my god. By 11 or 12 o'clock, I can't really remember what time. At this point, I had my IV. So I was getting, you know, my fluids and all that stuff. And we were pretty much just kind of like sleeping and chilling. It was kind of difficult to use the restroom. The restroom was right next to the bed, so it wasn't like super far, but there was like a lot of equipment. So once I was hooked up to the IV, if I had to use the restroom, I literally had to unplug the monitors that were on my belly and then drag the IV to the restroom. I couldn't close the door all the way because of the plugs, and then bring it back and then plug the monitors like for my belly back in and then get in the bed. Like, it was a lot of work, but whatever. I did have to take a COVID test. Jody didn't have to take one though, which I thought was really weird, but so I did take a COVID test. I'm assuming it was negative because they didn't tell me the results. At this point, nothing is really happening for the night. There's really no changes. They do have to give you, like, they started whatever inducing me. There's like, it's like a 2-step process. So they give you something. I don't really know what it does. I don't really remember, but they give you something and they're supposed to wait 12 hours and then they start the Pitocin. However, they started the first process and then around 9 a.m. around 9 a.m. they started the Pitocin, which was of course the next morning. So it had already been about 9 hours or so, maybe a little bit less, since they started, what am I trying to say? Started the first part of that process. Something about the doctor didn't want to wait anymore, so they went ahead and did it. So anyway, this Pitocin part is kind of where things start going left, I should say. By 10 a.m. I start feeling like the contractions or whatever. So this is only like an hour, okay? So by 10 a.m. I start feeling the pressure, and that's because of the Pitocin. Pitocin works really fast. They have to give it like, it's kind of like the IV. They give it in like levels, right? So they start at 0 and they just start upping it or whatever, which brings on contractions. I'm having them, but they are pretty irregular. Nothing really crazy is happening, but I can feel them, okay? There's pressure, I can feel them. Mind you, I don't have any pain meds right now, so any contractions that I'm feeling is like, I feel all of it, okay? It's all me. Not really loving it at this time. Around at noon, they start giving me, they go ahead and give me the epidural because the pressure is just too much for me to handle at this point. And I'm like, okay, I didn't want it to get to the point where it was too late for me to take the epidural, because that can definitely happen. So once the pressure was like, once the pressure was over, I would say like a normal pain level that I could tolerate, I was like, go ahead and give it to me, because I'd rather be safe than sorry. So she calls in the guy, the nurse calls in the guy, and we do the epidural. It takes 2 tries because I don't know what I was thinking, but the dude came in and he was like, okay, I'm gonna do your epidural, whatever, blase blase. And basically, I don't know why I'm powdering so much, but I am. I'm literally not going anywhere. Okay, so the guy's telling me, he's like, okay, we're gonna do the epidural, and if your vision gets blurry, let me know, because that means we have to redo it. It's like too close to a blood vessel or something, whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool. So he's behind me, I'm like on the edge of the bed. The nurse is in front of me, like holding my hand, making sure that I'm arched properly, I guess, for him to do it. And then Jody is behind the nurse. So they do it. My vision does not get blurry, but I get kind of lightheaded, and it triggers my blood pressure to go up. He was like, is your vision blurry? And I'm like, no, but I feel kind of lightheaded. And I guess I could see on the monitor that my blood pressure was going up. So he was like, okay, chill, let's stop it. They stop it. Takes it out, and I don't know if it was like blood or it had to be blood. I have no idea what it actually was, but I could, once he took it out, I could literally feel like a stream of liquid down my back and the crack of my ass. I have no idea. Like, I don't know. I'm assuming it was blood, but whatever. Mind you, an epidural does not feel great, so the fact that they had to do it again, low-key, high-key pissed. What you over there talking about, man? I could feel whatever the squishy thing was. There's like I don't know. I could feel whatever it was in my back, like going up my back, like going up my spine. You know, I have like the notches. Oh, it felt so weird. But you know what I'm saying? You just gotta take it like a G and do it. Because I didn't want to feel no goddamn pain. Okay. So anyway, that was at like 12 o'clock. Like I said, they had to do it 2 times, which sucked. Second time I got it right, no problem. At this point, I'm like 2.5 centimeters. So mind you, when I got there, I was 1 centimeter. Okay, 9 o'clock the previous night. It's now noon the next day, and I've only gained 1 centimeter. So things are not really progressing. So she's upping my Pitocin. And then the doctor came in and broke my water, which I couldn't feel because, well, can I feel? I don't really remember. I had the epidural by the time she broke my water. But anyway, so time is going by, not a lot of time, maybe like 30 minutes or so. And I'm feeling a lot of pressure, right? So then we can see like my heart rate and the baby's heart rate on the monitor that was next to us. And basically what was happening was, for whatever reason, my body naturally decided to go into labor. Okay, so I was naturally given contractions, and the Pitocin level was up to 12. I don't know how high it could go, but it was up to like 12. And basically it was too high. So it was too much for the baby. It was like messing with his heart rate, or messing up his heart rate. So his heart rate was going really fast and stressing him out, which was bad. So she took me off of it for like 30 minutes. And then brought me back up to like 4. I don't know if it went above 4. I don't know what these levels mean. Okay. But I remember her saying, I'm gonna bring it up to 4. We're gonna start low. Cool. 5:30. I'm at like 3.5, almost 4 centimeters, but not quite. Or 3.7 or something like that. She gave me a peanut. So it was like this huge ass, literally like a peanut. It looked like a peanut, but it was like one of those bounce balls that you sit on to exercise or whatever. But it was like that. It was shaped like a peanut, and she gave me that, and she was like, she put it between my legs. So basically that was in between my legs to kind of get the baby in position, and she was rotating me on my side, my back, my other side, like every 15 minutes. Okay, so was not getting much rest at this point because she was in here like every 15-20 minutes doing that. At this point, actually right a little bit after I got the epidural, I'm sorry that I'm like backtracking, but I'm like remembering things. So I need to finish my makeup. After they gave me the epidural, they went ahead and gave me the catheter. If you don't know what a catheter is, it's basically something that they put into you so that you don't have to get up to use the restroom. Everything's going fine. And then, like, I'm starting to feel around 5:30-ish, I'm starting to feel like I have to boo-boo. Okay, like I got to go number 2. Okay, so I asked the lady, I'm like, so if I have to go boo-boo, if I got the shit, if I gotta go number 2, then what? Like, because I know I only have the catheter. The catheter is only gonna help me pee, okay? Mind you, you don't know you're peeing when you're peeing. It's just, you're numb, it's in there, it's just coming out, okay? Into a little bag. So, and at this point, it's been 24 hours. Yeah, it's been 24 hours since we ate. So, and I did not use the restroom. So I'm feeling like I legit have to use the restroom. And she's like, no, if you feel like you have to boo-boo, it's because you have to push. Okay, cool. Now it's kind of minor at this point. So I'm like, maybe I just have gas. You know what I'm saying? No. But anyway, are you starting to get upset? I don't really know what's happening. It might take me 40,000 days to film this video. I'm telling the nurse, like, legit, I got to boo-boo. Like, I feel like I have to boo-boo. I don't feel like it's gas. And she completely ignores the fact that she told me earlier that if I feel like I have to boo-boo, then that means that I probably have to push. Completely ignores it, okay? And at this point, I'm not really checking her because the pressure is almost too much, okay? So I just want to try to boo-boo. I tell her, like, I'm not playing around. I need to shit, like, right now. So Jody had stepped out because I think he was getting coffee or water or something like that. And she was like, okay, whatever. She was like, okay, what I'll do is she'll put a like one of those, they basically have something underneath you to catch liquids and stuff, and that I could just push, and then if there, you know, if there actually was liquid, that she would just clean it up. She gets the pad, she turns me on my side, and I push, and nothing comes out. Like, not gas, not nothing. Okay, so I'm like, all right, well, I guess I was tripping. Like, I didn't actually have to boo-boo, and that's because I didn't, but whatever. Jody comes back in, and then I end up calling her back because I was like, y'all, I don't know what's going on, but like I dead ass have to I have to shit. Like, something is going wrong, and because, not wrong, but something is off. Again, because there's so much pressure at this point, and I'm not connecting that it's not a constant pressure, right? It's a like it's happening in intervals around the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like every few seconds or every few minutes, that's when it was happening. Now, mind you, the last time she had checked me, I was like 3, almost 4 centimeters. She's panicking. Okay, she is low-key panicking, and hindsight, I'm annoyed, but hindsight 2020, I'm extra freaking annoyed because why are you panicking and I'm the one in the, like, aren't you the nurse? So I'm just like telling her, like, I really don't feel good, like I'm feeling so much pressure, and she's like, should I check you again? And I'm like, Bitch, you're the fucking nurse. Why are you asking me if I should be checked again? Like, what? Oh my God. This powder is amazing. I'm frustrated. She doesn't check me. What she decides is that basically I need more meds. Okay, she doesn't check me. Like I said, decides that I'm just tripping. I need more medication. So she calls the anesthesiologist, who comes up and literally says to me, like, hi, and introduces himself. She also calls the doctor, who is not on her way because she's in a meeting or something like that. He literally introduces himself, and that was it. Like, game over. I'm pushing and not even really realizing it, because like I said, if you feel it in your butthole, okay? This is why I feel like I have to move, because you feel the contraction in your butthole. Okay, not in your vagina, not where you're numb everywhere else. I don't know why you're numb everywhere else except for your damn booty hole. But yeah, I'm struggling. Like, Jody is trying to, you know, calm me down and keep me breathing or whatever, being sure that my breathing is okay. And it's just it's all becoming too much, and I know at this point, like, there's no turning back. I want to say, I feel like I skipped something. At some point I felt the urge to push, so I like pushed, and then something stopped me from continuing to push, and his head starts to pop out. But I don't know this, okay? I think I can feel it a little bit, but I'm not 100% sure that that's what's happening, because literally I think my mind is just like, doesn't compute. You know what I'm saying? The doctor's not there. My nurse is over here asking me questions like I'm the fucking doctor. And literally she has anesthesia there, as if I'm not about to go into labor. And I think at that fake push that I gave without even realizing it, the nurse is like, oh shit. And she's like, don't push. And I'm like, bitch, it's too late. Like, there's no stopping this. It's happening. I gave one good push and he was out. Okay. One push. Okay, so it was like an accidental half push, and then a legit I'm pushing push, and he was out of there. At some point during the pushing process, nurses started trailing in. Okay, so at this point, there are several nurses. Mind you, I pushed without a doctor's assistance because my doctor was in a meeting. They called in a backup doctor who came in as I was doing the real legit push, who was putting on scrubs. So basically, I delivered this baby, and I deserve a refund for my hospital bill, because literally I did all the work. Okay, but Jody's holding my hand. The nurses are like weighing him. They take him away, weigh him. He cries, blah, 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 all that stuff. Then all of a sudden, nurses are injecting me with things. They're like, I'm gonna give you such and such and such and such. I don't know what that means. I get a shot in my thigh. Another nurse comes by a few seconds later and says, I'm gonna give you a shot of whatever, whatever, whatever. It shoots me with a needle in the other thigh. I have no idea what they were shooting me with. Things are getting kind of hectic, and I'm not even, like I said, I'm not noticing. At this point, I'm starting to get cold, okay? To the point where I'm shaking. And I also feel the doctor that came in tells me like, oh, you have a tear, which I tore with Asia, so he was like sewing me up. But then after that, I felt literally like massive thrusting in my vagina by the doctor. I'm looking up at Jody. Jody seems fine, so I'm like, oh, there's a line. So I'm like, okay, everything must be okay because Jody's not freaking out. But everything was not okay. The doctor he's complaining, right? The doctor is complaining to the other nurses. He's like, we need to go down to such and such place or whatever in the hospital because the lighting is not good. He can't see what he's doing. At this point, I have no idea that I'm basically bleeding to death. Okay, I'm just being a little extra, but basically, nobody has really said that. He just says, I can't see. The lights in here suck or whatever, so he wants to go down to whatever room so that he can have better lighting. So before they start to like wheel me away, a pan drops where he has my placenta, or I don't know. A pan drops, apparently blood goes everywhere because he was, which I didn't find out till later, he was basically trying to stop the bleeding with gauze. So that's what he was like shoving up there and throwing it into a pan. It was like soaking it up or whatever. So that fell into the floor. Our nurse accidentally dropped that into a floor and blood got everywhere. So they take me away. Again, I'm cold. I'm complaining that I'm like literally freezing cold. I'm shivering, and I don't really know what's happening. I just know that we're going somewhere so that this doctor can have better lighting. I get wheeled away. They give the baby to dad. Things are moving so fast. They did give me like a few seconds of chest, skin to skin or whatever. It's not like we had a moment to pray or anything because I didn't know what was happening. Okay, I had no clue. Jody had no clue. We were just like, okay, I'll just see you later. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, I couldn't even say that because I was so cold from losing all of the blood that I couldn't say anything, basically. Just the fact that I was cold. So they wheel me out and it's like I'm in a damn movie. Like I'm on the gurney or whatever, and all I see is like the lights as we're rolling down the hallway, and it's low-key scary because I have no idea what's happening, right? They get me into the room. We go into an elevator, and then all of a sudden we're in this room. I can't really see what the room is. I just remember seeing all white and lights everywhere. So when I say there's a couple of nurses, there's like 3, maybe 4 nurses in the room, and then the doctor. So they moved me from whatever they wheeled me down into this room in. They moved me, like lift me onto another bed or whatever, I don't know, surgery table, I guess. And then I'm like this, like my arms are spread out onto like these flanks or something like that. And another nurse comes up to me and he was like, I know you're cold, we'll get you a blanket. And I'm like, thank you. In my head, I can't really talk out loud, but I'm like, thank you, because like I'm so, like I'm freezing. Okay, my body is shivering, my teeth are chattering. I'm so damn cold. So the doctor is still complaining about the lights. The light is not bright enough. Da, 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 da. He's complaining to the nurses so they can fix it. Next thing I know, I'm waking up. Okay, so apparently either I passed out, fell asleep, or they put me to sleep. But I woke up, right? I wake up and I have one nurse in my face. He was like, you did so good, da, 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 da. Everything was okay. And I'm just like, mind you, I have no idea why I was down there in this room in the first place, okay? So I'm like, what? And then another nurse comes over to me and she's like, hey, everything's okay. Da, da, da. She's talking good things in my ear. I'm just like, what are y'all even talking about? What do you mean everything's okay? Because I never knew there was a problem. I could see my legit doctor in the corner. I mean, it looks like she was just like chilling on somebody's stoop smoking a cigarette. Like She looked very nonchalant. She looked like very much, I'm just here for the show. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay. I'm pretty sure I end up falling back to sleep because I don't remember going upstairs or wherever. I don't remember leaving that room. When I wake up again, I am in the postpartum room. And I'm in a lot of pain. I wake up, there's a whole bunch of nurses in there. I can see Jody, I can see the baby. And again, I'm getting reassurance, like everything will be well, you're doing great. And they're asking me if I'm in pain, which yes, I'm in pain. And I have no idea, well, the pain that I'm feeling is me laying flat, right? So I'm like, I'm in pain, I'm trying to get up, but they won't let me get up, okay? So they're just like, no, you have to lay flat for 4 hours. And I'm just like, excuse me? What do you mean lay flat for 4 hours? So they were like, you just had surgery. What? And you have to lay flat for 4 hours. So apparently I have to lay flat. And when I'm talking like plank, you remember planking? I'm talking like plank flat on my back. Now, anybody who has even a little bit of shape, you know what I'm saying? If you got a little bit of ass, which I got a little bit, you know, that is not, I've never in my life slept on my back, for obvious reasons. And it's because of that, okay? So, but they're giving me meds, but they're not really working. So she's like, oh yeah, just hit the buzzer, like it's giving you medicine, but if you need an extra boost, okay, then you push the button. And every 15, you're only allowed to do it every 15 minutes, like it'll green light and then you can push the button and then it'll give you an extra boost of medication. Half-ass trash, do not recommend, but whatever. So I'm complaining. Okay, I'm complaining because this shit hurts like hell to be laying on your back flat for that long. Like, I asked for a pillow insert, something in the gap to help me. Nothing. I'm pissed. Okay, I'm tired of people asking me if I'm okay, because I really could punch you in your face because I told you that this shit hurts. I'm getting mediocre medicine, like painful. Okay, one nurse eventually was like, I don't think they realize that you have like a body shape and that could be a little painful. Right, bitch, like all of y'all are bitches. I hate every single last one of y'all. Like, this is horrible. So eventually the 4 hours are over, thank God, and I'm able to sit up. So this is at this point the next day when I'm able to sit up, like 2 in the morning or something like that. I don't remember if after, like shortly after, or if I don't remember at what point. No, it was the next day after breakfast. So I'm able to go to sleep 7 in the morning, 6 in the morning, something like that. We end up eating, you know, ordering breakfast, eating. At some point as the sun is up, a doctor comes in, a doctor who's filling in for my doctor who is now out of town. Okay, and she tells me that she basically tells me that I just had surgery and that it went well, and that she tells me that I basically had to have like several blood transfusions because I was losing a lot of blood and I was basically hemorrhaging, and that technically I shouldn't be here. My God, this is legit the first time that I have cried. I feel like I was trying to be stronger than what I really am. Okay, anyway, so basically what happened was, again, I didn't learn. Anyway, that's what the doctor said, and that I was doing okay. The surgery stopped the bleeding, and that they were just gonna keep me a little while longer than usual, just to make sure that everything remained okay. So yeah, we're basically going into normal postpartum routine, hospital routine, I guess. Everything pretty much is chill. We have the nurses coming in and checking on me. I'm still doing like the pain meds, the extra pain meds. At this point, they're also giving me like 3 medications. I can't remember what. 2 were for pain, but different kinds. So one was like a extreme like ibuprofen. One was a lot heavier that they were giving me, and then they gave me something else too. I don't really remember what it was, but I was taking those 3 pills like every, well, 2 pills I was taking every few hours, and then 1 pill every 12 hours. I don't know, I don't remember. But I was taking those to maintain the pain. About 5:30, 6 o'clock that evening, baby boy had his first bath, which he hated. He absolutely hated it. Jody was like, I mean, first of all, again, this is Jody's first kid. It's a boy, you know what I'm saying? He's very protective. Already he was like, it was so cute to see them together. I mean, it was like the best thing ever. Very heartwarming to see. And he was ready to fight her. The nurse that was giving him a bath, he was like, you make my baby cry, like it's on. My same thing when they were giving me an epidural. Like, you fucking with my baby, like we about to fight. So anyway, he had his first bath, and then the following day at about, actually, he got circumcised. So he got circumcised the following day. I can't remember if we got let go that day or we had to wait there an hour. I mean, a day. I can't remember. But so in between then, let's talk nurses. Okay, so we had several nurses that were in rotation. The first group of nurses came in fine, whatever. I didn't realize that all of the nurses were basically trash until we had the very final nurse that gave us our release papers. Oh, excuse you. So actually the last 2 nurses that we had were really good. We had one nurse that was like really awkward and weird. Like, she would stay after us talking and just kind of stand there, and it was really awkward. And she doesn't, I mean, you could tell she just didn't read signals very well. I don't know, but she was very weird. She was very awkward. We could not wait for her to leave the room every time she was in there. So the last nurse, she was really good. She was pretty helpful. always made sure that I was like stocked with whatever we needed and all of that stuff. And then the very last nurse, as we were getting discharged and she was like reading all the stuff, I realized, okay, all those other nurses, minus the last one because she was very helpful, they wasn't shit, okay? Because she was like, okay, so just make sure you continue to take your prenatal pills. Here's your last, no, she said, okay, here's your last dose of medicine, or here's your dose of medicine for the day or whatever, and then your prenatal pills. And I was like, prenatal pills? Like, they had not been giving me prenatal pills the whole time. The whole time. So literally our last day after checking out is the first day that I get prenatal pills. Okay. She also gave me or pointed out that we had nipple cream in the room. Had no idea. She was like, okay, keep using your vaginal care. And I was like, what it is? Because they had, I mean, they gave me like a bottle, like the water bottle or whatever. And then they gave me wipes. But apparently there was like a cream. There were these moistened pads, which basically had like witch hazel on them. I had no idea that I was supposed to be using those. So, oh, so I forgot to mention that the second day, which was the day, so he was born on the 10th. So the 11th, the nurse comes in, not the nurse, I'm guessing somebody from billing comes in, and she was like, okay, yes, so the estimate that we gave y'all for your visit is still the same. We ran the numbers, got with your insurance, it's still the same. And I'm like, okay. And like, why are you here? She got paperwork. She's just like, how do you want to take care of your bill? I'm like, bitch, I just got out of surgery. Apparently, have you not heard? I just got out of surgery. And she asked me about a goddamn bill. As we're like, I just thought that was so tacky and unprofessional. Like, I get it, you're trying to get your money, but I have never been laid up in the hospital and have somebody ask me about a goddamn bill that I needed to pay right then and there. Like, that shit was crazy to me. And I didn't like it. So we're packing up, getting ready to leave. And I realized, now I had realized the day before that my jewelry was not on. Like, I had my nose ring, which I never put back in. My nose ring, my earrings, my necklace. I don't think I had any rings on, thank God. But everything was off, okay? And I asked Jody, I was like, have you seen my jewelry? Like, I have no idea where it's at. I'm guessing they probably took it off during surgery. I have no idea. So he was like, yeah, somebody did bring their jewelry up in like one of those hazard bags when they were still in the other room. Or, I don't know, at some point they brought it up in one of those hazard bags. Okay, but now we can't find it. So upon discharge, I was like, I'm just gonna ask a nurse because we've been looking around and we can't find it. Ask the nurse, they can't find it, we can't find it. Guess is, because it was in a hazard bag, as the cleaning people were probably cleaning, they probably thought it was trash and threw it away. Yeah, they threw away my shit. Like, okay. I'm just glad my wedding ring was not in there. I'm kind of pissed because it's like the principle of the, you know what I'm saying? Like, how could you just throw away somebody's stuff? Like, even if it wasn't a hazard bag, wouldn't you be able to tell that it was something shiny and probably, like, I don't know. I missed my pain meds by like 10 minutes. So by the time we got home, baby girl was in, I mean, I was hurting. I pretty much stayed in bed. We were discharged at like 12 something. I pretty much stayed in bed that entire day, the rest of the day. And I didn't get up out of the bed really until the following evening, afternoonish. I was done. Okay. Trying to think of what else really happened that may have caused some. Oh, okay, so my surgery, nothing else really happened, but at the following doctor's appointment I kind of tell you what happened as far as my surgery goes. My battery trying to play me this whole time. Okay, so the following week I have my doctor's appointment. We go to the doctor, and my doctor, who's finally there, explains why I went into surgery. And basically, I don't remember what it's called, but there's a blood vessel that expands when you're pregnant. It's usually like, I don't know, I think she said it was the size of a pencil head normally, and then when you're pregnant it expands to like the size of your thumb. That, for whatever reason, had ruptured. Okay, and because it was open, now blood is just like spewing, right? And I had the surgery because obviously the doctor at the point where I was in the delivery room could not find where that little hole was, okay, to stop the bleeding. So what they do is, I went down to the OR. I have this surgery where they basically take a catheter and put it up your thigh, or like an incision in your, I want to say thigh, but it's like basically the thigh, where your thigh and your, that little crease is, I don't know, in between your hip bone. They put a catheter up there and basically shoot like this foam that wraps around your veins and will basically stop the bleeding. So that's what happened. The surgery took 4 hours, and I'm not sure why, but because of that type of surgery I had to lay flat for 4 hours. I don't know if it's to make it stick, I don't really know, but I've kind of been obsessed with watching labor and delivery videos on YouTube. So those were rolling out. I was watching a lot of those, and a lot of people had the same experience. So I don't know if that is a side effect. I don't know. In my mind, I feel like it's a side effect of inducing labor, but it couldn't, I mean, it may as well not be. So like I said, all of the people that I have watched that had induced, it happened to them. Either like directly after, like mine was. I even saw a video where the girl was induced, and a week later it happened to her while she was at home, which is insane. And I think both situations happened to my mom, and I didn't even notice. I mean, not notice, I didn't even know. So I don't know. I feel like that's something that could have been prevented, in my opinion. Like, to have gone, I guess, for me it started with the Pitocin and the levels of Pitocin that I was given. I feel like if I hadn't, they haven't moved him along so fast with the Pitocin, and then as well as her not really listening to me, feeling like I had to push, things just moved really quickly. And if things have moved slower, no, I don't know, I can't even say that, because one of the videos that I watched, she was in labor pushing actively for like 30 minutes and it still happened to her. So I don't know, I just feel like we kind of weren't prepared for what could have happened. And just to think that if it had gone even farther left, nobody would have, I mean, I had no clue. I just had no clue that I was about to go into surgery. I had no clue that I was bleeding the way I was bleeding. Jody had no clue. So just imagine if things have gotten worse and I hadn't come back up, you know? I don't know. I mean, I don't want to imagine that. Like, things went well. I'm glad they went the way, you know, that I'm here, that everything is fine. I mean, baby boy was fine from jump. Okay, he came out, he was crying, he was rocking and rolling. He came out looking like he was real thug, like he was ready to fight everybody. Like he had been here before. It was completely healthy. So, I mean, and I'm in shock too, because for the most part, I've been completely healthy. Like I had not been ever sick or have had high blood pressure or anything. That nothing. Baby girl has been healthy. Okay, so it was completely odd to me, and I felt kind of slighted, because I felt like all the courses that we had taken, nobody had said like, okay, I don't want to scare you, but the possibilities are that you could have to be induced because of blood pressure or da 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 da. Nobody said that. They just said all the good shit, sprinkled in all the flowers, and just let us go on a little merry way. I paid good money for those courses, okay? I deserve to know everything. I'm just saying. So, anyway, I feel like I'm definitely missing some things, and I'll probably end up doing it like a Q&A on my Instagram eventually. So make sure you go and follow me on Instagram. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching my labor and delivery video. A lot of you guys have been reaching out to me on that, so I appreciate it. Thank you. See you later.